everybody feeling? Not bad, not bad. We switched from the cycles to math today. So I'm really excited. I'll look on my math people in the room. I wasn't able to be here in the morning yesterday. I was off site. So my reflections for the most part are about day one. And I wanted to make sure we continue with these celebrations. And I want to call out a network that I thought did a phenomenal job in day one. And I know the facilitator in the room was like, why is he staying in here? I spent the morning pretty much with, I might call it wrong, so I'm going to say some of these school names and some names of people that are in the room because I don't know if I know the right network number. Was it 11? CLM 11? They made me want to go back and be a principal again. I brought that in my resignation. I was so excited about just the level that they were engaged in wanting to do the work, and their teams were just really impressive. I was inspired by the leadership in the room. I didn't get to too many of the choice sessions, but I'll make sure I hit those today. I was excited about some of the questions in the special education choice session, but I will definitely hit those. I didn't get a chance to do the leadership sessions yesterday, but I will definitely look at that as well. Really excited. I love that principals and some facilitators have already come up to me and they've given me feedback in the moment. Those of you who don't know me, I really do listen to feedback. I really do take it. Remember I said on Monday, I'm really trying to make sure that you all have a positive experience. So please keep the feedback coming. Matter of fact, when I first got here on yesterday, the first thing I asked Jen and Casey was, tell me about the feedback from Monday. And they looked at me, and I knew something was wrong. And they said, you're asking the wrong question. And I'm like, what question should I be asking? How many people responded? So I didn't even look at the feedback from Monday because less than 20% of you responded. And I'm not going to fuss. We're not going to change how we do things. All I want you to know is you have a voice. Exercise it. If you want change, speak up. We want this to be a very positive experience for you. Okay? All right, let's move on. Let's start. On Monday, I briefly talked about how great it is to work in an urban environment, such as city schools, because of the diverse population of students that we work with. And it got me to start thinking, who's really in front of us? Do we know who's in front of us? So I started just reflecting back on my year. And what I know is that I learned from Laura O'Hanian's team, that we've had a significant increase in Syrian refugees this year. So did you know that Arabic is our third most spoken language in the district right now? I learned that this year. I didn't know that. I spent way too much time in special education this year. Did you know that we also have a significant increase in students being identified as intellectually disabled? Did you know that the overwhelming majority of them are African American? And don't quote me, I also think they're African American males. I learned this year that who we have in front of us, we also have seen an increase in students identified as gifted and advanced learners. We've also seen an increase in the number of schools that are identified as gifted and advanced learning sites. That's good. That's really good. Former GT teacher. Who's in front of us? Culturally, socially, and emotionally. Who's in front of us? I'm always told the schools know best. The district is a little out of touch. Turn to your partner. Talk for a teacher minute. Who's really in front of us? Culturally, socially, and emotionally. Would anyone like to share? Socially, emotionally, and culturally. Who's in front of us? I really want to hear from you. Thank you.
So we discussed
Other duties as assigned.
So we discussed that we are literally teaching to the melting pot at this point. We're teaching to not just multi-level learners, but we're also speaking to a new generation of 21st century learners. So they learn much differently than we do. They have access to information much more quickly than we ever did, and the way they access and utilize that information is used in a completely different way than we ever have probably even considered.
Perfect. I actually come back to that on my next slide. I get one more. Talk about 21st century, the new melting pot.
Good morning. I think for us in my particular school, the conversation we're having, our kids face tremendous amounts of trauma. Tremendous, like I know in my school, my kids had to walk past 3 dead bodies this school year on the way to school. And they were calm about it. They weren't even phased or they was Braxton as a dead body outside, you need to call school police, you need to call police. And they went back and kept doing what they were doing like it was normal, but for 10 of them it was. And so the bluntness of trauma, the lack of, it's not even awareness, but just the numbness to violence is just unbelievable. And so that's the trauma that the kids face. That's unreal.
We talked about on Monday some of those barriers that they face: poverty, trauma, violence. Absolutely true. And the numbness that just stood out to me what you just said, because once they become numb, there's a good chance we're going to lose them. So now, let's make this more personal. Think about one of those students. Think about any student in your school, one of these unique students. Just process for a second. Picture one of them in your head. The 21st century learner, the EL student, students facing trauma. All right, now you have someone in your head about you're thinking about. Go deeper. What makes that student so very unique? To yourself, personal moment. Only a few seconds. What makes that student that you have in your mind so very unique? All right, I'm going to push a little bit further now. Thinking about yourself and your interaction with that student is one perspective you can take. Or you can take a second perspective in just how you have seen others interact with this student that you just thought about. What were the adult actions that you experienced, that you observed, that enhanced that student's uniqueness? That's one way you could look at this. Or, what were the adult actions that debilitated that student's uniqueness? This is your moment only. The adult actions either enhance that student's uniqueness or debilitate that student's uniqueness. Someone willing to share with me something that they've experienced that enhanced a student's uniqueness?
Patience and consistency.
Adult actions, patience, and being consistent with the student. What else? How do we enhance a student's uniqueness?
For the student that I'm thinking of, he doesn't fit into the typical mold, and so we added a dance program this year, and it was just an eye-opening thing for him. He was in there doing dance drops and choreographing things and having lunch practices with the kids and whipping the chain. He was cracking the whip, and it just really brought out an area where he was able to shine.
Thank you.
I think the resiliency of the whole staff in the building contribute to the students having a better relationship with the staff, and they knew we weren't going anywhere. They were going to test limits, and we're going to come back and try again. I think the resiliency helped in that process.
Consistency, resiliency. I'm not going to get into the debilitating ones, because you know what they are. We don't need to name them or call them right now, because we're in a moment of celebration. But what I need you to take away is the adult actions that are going to make this or tear this apart. I'm not going to read the 3-year academic goal like I've been doing. I'm going to look at it a little bit differently. All students will be able to critically analyze complex texts. What I'm saying, all students will be able to comprehend. All students will be able to write. All students will be able to communicate with confidence and conviction. That's easy, right? Absolutely not. This is going to be challenging. It's going to be challenging. But if we're serious, from Monday, back to Monday, if we're serious about respecting that all students are a continuum of learners, if we're serious about looking at all students as individuals, if we're serious about looking at the possibilities, how students are full of possibilities, are full of potential and resilience, if we're serious about it as our responsibility to meet their needs, if we're serious. Last year, we had 82,354 students in the school district. Every single one of them is on track to meet this goal. Seriously, every single one of them. They're on their own track. They're on their own track to reach this goal. I need information faster. I need it slower. I need you to break it down for me. I need you to help me put it back together. I need to touch things. I need to see things. You just can't talk to me. I acquire language very differently. I need you to help me with that. If we are serious, 100% of our kids are on track to reach this goal if we are serious. They are just on their own track. If we are serious, we will understand the importance of understanding who's in front of us and the track that they're on. If we are serious, we will understand the importance of the relationship between the adults and the student. The consistency, the building the resiliency. They know you're coming back each and every day. They will react differently. It's the adult actions that are going to make a difference. Xavier played, I'm about to show you a video. This student, and if you haven't seen this video, this is absolutely phenomenal. If you have, just be patient. Xavier is clearly able to communicate with conviction and confidence. He is clearly able to organize his thoughts in a clear and concise way. Xavier is clearly able to write. You're going to meet him later today. You're going to watch a video right now. But you know what? With Xavier, I guarantee this. Either someone in this audience now or someone in this school system, there's an adult in Baltimore City Public Schools that has touched his life for him to be able to do this. There's going to be a pause at the end of the video. Don't stop. Don't stop. There's going to be something at the very end that that I want to talk about briefly.
Right now, City Police investigate what led to a double homicide this morning in West Baltimore. Police responded just before 6 a.m. for a reported double shooting.
Here, when the sun rises, the darkness remains. Morning light barely visible through cracks in wooden boards and shattered window panes. We're not woken by the light of the sun, but by the eardrum-busting sounds of sirens and angry bullets, one by one. Under our pillow is where we hide our dreams, all blessed and alone, so we can still believe in them if we make it home.
This week, Baltimore reached a grim milestone, 100 murders before the end of April. Baltimore's mayor is asking for help from the FBI as the city struggles to contain a soaring murder rate.
We know we're on borrowed time, so we sit here, blindly writing our own solitary line in an obituary, saying our goodbyes, mourning a place that is dying right before our eyes, straight like a gun's finger that decides our fate, pointing at the heart that beats with fear and fight our demons, voices screaming through the dead of night. They recite, there's no hope, no escape, no chance to break free, walking blood-covered sidewalks on streets of apathy. With balled fists, do we exist among the monsters and the pain? Or do we dare to lift our heads and believe again?
It's just a deep cycle of poverty, racism, neglect, kids murdered on the streets of Baltimore.
But it is here where the light resides, where our voices will be heard, where we determine our lives, and in the light have faith that change will come, stepping stones to what we can become. If tomorrow not be promised, what will we do today? Will we rise from the dust or choose to fade away? Should we live our lives in darkness like we're already dead? Or step out of the shadows and into the light instead?
If we want it enough to believe it, if we trust in our power to achieve it, we can break through. Because here, the world belongs to you.
Every time I see that, my heart pumps. If you couldn't hear the little girl at the end, stop telling me I can't. I know I can. I don't need you telling me I can't. All you're doing is being mad at me for nothing I didn't do. I know that I can. I know that I will. You get to meet Xavier later on this afternoon, and he's actually going to do this for you all live. This is really impressive. Thank you. Before we release and start our session today, I just want to come back to this because this is really powerful to me. So earlier on Monday, I talked about the importance. Remember I told you the one thing I thought in thinking about if our feedback is really good about Citywise, from you all, your voice. But then when we go to schools, we're wondering, sometimes it's implemented, sometimes it's not. And then I'm wondering about the planning sessions. Is that one of those key variables, maybe an opportunity that we've missed that can help bridge that gap? As you're thinking, as you're planning today, tomorrow, throughout the summer, ask yourself every now and then, what are you explicitly doing to ensure that they know that you believe that they can and they will? I'm really excited for these next 2 days. I can't wait to get into the classroom with you all. We get to see, this afternoon, we get to meet Xavier. We've also brought somebody in, Dr. Lisa Williams, to talk about social-emotional learning, as we're getting really geared up for later this summer when we do the rollout of the blueprint. Everyone just have a fantastic day. I'll see you all later. Look forward to being in the classroom with you. Thank you.